everyone, and welcome back to Star Ladder Season 12 America. We are in phase number 2, which is a 4-team double elimination bracket. And we just saw in our previous series Tinker fight their way to the bitter end of a long-winded 3-game series, and they get to advance forward in the upper bracket. And for, well, the other side, who is Wheel. Sorry, I don't know why it slipped my mind all of a sudden.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah, that one team that I already forgot about because they got beat. No, Wheel is going to be moving down to the lower bracket, and they will be facing the loser of this matchup, which now we get a nice little tasty treat here, LD. It's going to be Complexity taking on Voidboys and Pat Soul. But Complexity, they got something up their sleeve here. Suddenly, a Wild Fogged has appeared and is going to be stepping in for them.
Yeah, the endless roster shuffle for NA Dota continues. Neither team has played a match in about a week, so I wonder if there will be some adjustments here based on what's happened in Major All-Stars. At least as far as official recorded matches. Maybe there's some smaller leagues they played in. But
yeah, I know Voidboys have been involved with like Sivo, but they also have had some upsets there even. So they're a team
upsets
that can
like they're winning or
like them losing.
Okay.
I know of a team that's beaten them 2-0 in their recent matchup there. So Voidboys could they could have underestimated it or what, you know, chalk it up to whatever you say. But a team that's also could be pretty hot and cold at times. But they have definitely performed, man. They looked real good in phase number 1. They had pulled out some back-to-back upsets. They were the team that took down the Summoner's Rift Squad, the Demon Stack. And then after that, it was them who faced, and I have it right here, actually. This is America, right? Yeah, in phase number 1, I believe... Yeah, well, they ended Group A 3-0, so they were able to get the upset as they took down...
Wheel, Pain, and E-Hug.
Yeah.
Now, E-Hug's had some crazy roster issues. They changed 3 players after qualifying for Major All-Stars. They beat all the other North American or American teams. They qualified for 100K LAN, and then they don't go. They changed 3 players. Long story there, apparently, but I suppose they're not the stiffest competition right now as a result. Instability, the name of the game in North America, it seems.
Yeah, there's a few teams though that have held their own, like Leviathan.
Yeah, Leviathan.
I think they're the only team, like the poster child. They're like they're like the ideal, like the.
They also went 0-3 in the group stage. So
yeah,
maybe it's time for them to change 4 players and disband and reband.
Well, they went back to. See, this is where I don't get this because they're a straight to phase 2. Oh, I'm thinking of Summit. Okay, this is where these tournaments start blending together. But yeah, they were unfortunately a bit underwhelming there. But they've moved since then into a gaming house. So they're at a gaming house in Florida. We'll see if that works out. That seemed to be what Complexity wanted to do during the Summit 2. Unfortunately, they made it to the very end and then ultimately got beat by Not Today. But they still look pretty good up to that point. So we'll see if the gaming house is a solution for Leviathan. But
it really can go either way with the gaming houses. You know, it's like on the one hand, you get to play more together. In theory, you can build closer relationships with your teammates. You know, get to know them outside of the game, and you know, sometimes having that chemistry can make a difference. Or maybe you get sick of them, you start grinding on each other and just getting on each other's nerves, and you end up playing worse because you've got all this beef. You know, someone's not doing the laundry, someone's never, you know, changing over the dishwasher. People are leaving their food everywhere. It can go either way, so I guess only time will tell. But Leviathan seemed like a pretty friendly, nice group of guys in general, at least on the outside.
Well, you can be friendly, but what's important is getting those wins. So we'll have to see how they perform in the next set for the Summit 3. But here, it's the Star Ladder, and we got Voidboys taking on Complexity. Voidboys had looked really strong up to this point. You know, the mysterious Pat Soul has been doing good work putting the team up on his back, but it's not been him all by his lonesome. Beyond has also been a phenomenal core representing the mid lane game very nicely, and can't help but feel like I wonder if Voidboys feel fresh and anew ever since the recent remodel to Void himself. Maybe something they try to pull out, which they have done. The Pat Soul Void is something that is in their arsenal, if not already the Spectre, which has been respectively banned for a reason. He's like the #2 Spectre on Dota Buff, so he definitely knows how to use the hero.
There's been a lot of games where Voidboys were losing all the lanes, just getting wrecked, and oh wait, Pat Soul's on Spectre, has the one good haunt, gets 2-3 kills, suddenly halfway to his relic, and the game completely turned. So I think a very, very respectable respect ban. KoL gonna go for something more aggressive here, though. They started off with the X, now they go into a Dazzle, so very bursty lineup, aggressive in the early to mid game. Maybe looking for something like a Bristleback here, just kind of your face rush, up in your face type of lineup.
Yeah.
Could be what Complexity have in mind. Very Very offensive draft so far.
I would be surprised if this is not a Vengeful Spirit grab here. I'm surprised VS has been ignored up to this point. You have already great minus armor with her and Shadow Fiend. You could be a lineup that could get Roche objectives yourself. And I don't know, you get someone like Clockwork jumping in for you. You always got to swap save just in case thereafter. I'd be very intrigued to see if it's something they kind of pass over from this point. But it looks like they've already committed to the Beyond mid lane Shadow Fiend. And as far as finding something for Patsoul thereafter, I don't know. As Spectre is something, yeah, he's gone to. He's also gone for a Void. We see him do a Lycan. And Morphling is also a big grab that he likes to go for. It used to feel like they're kind of part of that 4 Protect 1 synergy that you see from like an LGD, where they're kind of just like stuck on their ways, putting it on the pressure on the back of Sylar, but they still get it done.
They have picked some interesting things. They ran the Bloodseeker mid versus Tinker. Ran a Timbersaw in the off lane, it looks like. And the Morphling you mentioned. Ember Spirit.
A Storm Spirit has been picked up here, though, for them, which leads me to believe is who is mid and who is going to be the safe lane farmer.
Probably Storm, safe lane, and Shadow Fiend mid.
Does that mean it's going to be a Patsoul Storm Spirit? Just seems very different from the Patsoul style, at least from what I've seen. He's more of a farmer, like farm and just unleash your fury later, which I guess you could do with a Storm Spirit. But that seems a bit interesting. I mean, it is a best of 3.
They are both fairly weak laners, and an Axe Dazzle +1 can definitely go aggressive. So it's a little bit risky for Voidboys in the laning stage here. They do have a strong defensive support in the Witch Doctor. You try to tower dive as an Axe, that Cask Maledict can really punish you. So they need to. I think they need to balance it out here with another strong defensive type support. Maybe they go Earthshaker for Voidboys.
Yeah,
they have good setup from their cores, the Clockwork Storm, so you're not hugely reliant. The other option is something that's a little bit more offensive, but still a good laning support, like the Skywrath Mage. Oh, Earthshaker's actually banned, so maybe Skywrath Mage for Voidboys would be another option here. Good with the clock, good with the storm. Heavy burst, help secure that safe lane, which is otherwise a bit vulnerable.
Complexity pick up the spicy Lina here, who's quickly become a really good candidate to take it back to your Shadow Fiend in the mid lane. When Sniper's not really an option to kind of go toe-to-toe, Lina seems to be what most of these teams go to as a second grab, and Complexity get it here. So they also could consider on the side of Voidboys someone who could be lingering nearby for your Shadow Fiend just in case he gets taken advantage of and needs a little bit of an early boost. But now you got that even more. I mean, Finger and Laguda on one team.
I love this duo.
I mean, that's the pew-pew lineup right there all in itself.
It's good versus Storm.
Oh, yeah.
If he gets hexed or called, he should not be getting out of most fights. The tree will be the ban.
That is a pretty defensive support. Could work very well.
The Tree Doctor is a cute combo. We used to see that a lot from EG. I think Skywrath is still a decent choice here.
Yeah, Skywrath could be good. I mean, Silence does work for them. Aside from that, maybe a Disruptor if they want to still get on the Silence bandwagon, but it doesn't seem like a direct Disruptor kind of a game. And you're going against an Axe, so you might need someone to kind of help out.
The Venge you mentioned is the issue with the Venge is she's a little bit weak in the lanes, and Complexity has fairly strong lanes. It could well be like a Dazzle Axe, a Lion +1. I doubt they'll go full aggressive tri-lane, but
yeah. What about like an Abaddon or something like that? I don't know if it's something they run though, but it could be a defensive. If they're thinking keeping it along that lines, which Complexity are anticipating big beastly supports who can take a beating and keep on going, or an Ogre is like another like beastly bodyguard kind of support.
Ogre is someone that Complexity do like to run from time to time as well, I believe. Yeah, they ran an Ogre in their last match.
What about Voidboys though? I mean, they're the one that's going to be
digging
into the pocket for a support. Yeah, they got 20 seconds on this clock.
I guess if they really want a tanky support, Space Cow's an option.
Omni Knight. I was thinking about it a bit. I mean, it's good going against the Axe.
The Omni Storm is. We all know how ridiculous the Omni Storm is.
Storm doesn't like to get a BKB, so if you get a free one, that's even better. So quick repel, he jumps in, goes a bit ham, clears out a couple of supports. Could work here, but now that Complexity have the last pick, which seems to be their core, how do you take it back to someone like an Omni Knight? PL is the first thing that pops out to me. He's a great diffusal carrier. We already saw the work he could do for Tinker in the previous series. And when he gets farmed up, he can also have his way with like Storm. And I don't know if it's something Complexity have been running with. But then again, I mean, if you look at Complexity's lineup, there's only 2 original members here, Swindle Melons and Z Freak.
I mean, who knows at this point? They haven't played for a week. They've got a whole new roster.
Yeah, I mean, Ziz
Drow maybe.
Ziz is one of the reasons. It is going to be the PL. I think that's like when you see something like an Omni-Light and you need a Diffusal Carrier, it's all PL all the way. Back in the day, it was like maybe a Naga, but Phantom Lancer is just where it's at. And Ziz picks it up, who had been their mid laner, or off and on mid laner between him and Swindle Melons, but looks like they're going to keep with this role change up. And Fogged, who's been their stand-in, is just going to go right back to his old position that he was with on Fire, you know, back at Starladder where he played that Lion. He's just going to be doing a bit of the same here, so still finds his way into Starladder some way, somehow. But here we go, folks. It's our second series of today, our first day of Starladder Season 12 America Phase 2 in this 4-team double elimination bracket. Voidboys taking on Complexity. I'll lead off your introductions here on Radiant Team. We got the Voidboys. We got Beyond, who's going to be playing your Shadow Fiend. Next to him, Pat Soul is going to be playing your Storm Spirit. I have not had the chance to cast him playing this kind of a hero, and I am very curious to see what he does. Omega Poner, he's going to be playing your Witch Doctor. Just behind, we got Fly, who's going to be playing your Omni Knight, not to be confused with the other former Fnatic Fly. This is a Fly of his own.
This aggression early from KoL.
Mercy, please. But yeah, here we go. Complexity on the other side. They are already in the woods. This is something we see from like your Team Leviathan, where they like to get aggressive early. It doesn't matter if they have a jungling hero or not. They put a very forward advanced ward past the pole camp.
Yeah, both teams have seen each other.
They're close. Yeah, they're flirting here.
And yeah, Radiant Team has the ward, so they see the whole gang.
Yeah.
No cute antics coming for KoL.
No.
Oh, they may try. They ain't gonna get it.
At least they will secure the bounty rune at the bottom, it looks like, but Mercy Please will be able to grab the 1 at the top, and there'll be no early first blood shed.
All right, well, quickly introducing Complexity. The PL that you called will be handled by, how do you say it, Zizzy?
I say Ziz, and I haven't had confirmation if it's ZYZZ or Ziz. I just go with Ziz. It sounds like that would be the right way.
All right.
Or so Louis, if you want to call him by his real name, I guess.
All right, we got Ziz playing the PL, heading towards top. Behind him will be supporting him on the line, Fogged. Going mid, Swindle on the Lina, and then heading towards bottom. They are going to run the dual lanes. The Dazzle being handled by Z Freak, and in the capable hands of TLK goes the Axe. It is a melee hero in a dual lane up against a double ranged hero, but it's an Axe Dazzle. Very strong lane that can easily rack up the kills if VB gets slightly out of position.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting lane to watch to see which team is going to be able to assert their dominance and be able to get away with it, is the big question here. Because the other lanes are somewhat predictable. I mean, Lina against Shadow Fiend, Lina should be able to have somewhat of an upper hand unless... It more comes down to the advancement early on. If Shadow Fiend is going to be able to get some early souls in and get that base damage underway, a couple of good raises here and there, and he can quickly take control, but you could say just the same for someone like Lina. And then top lane Clockwork, going against this dual lane for now, he can get close enough for some easy XP, maybe be able to finagle in a CS or two, but overall should... hopefully not be brought down too much, but Fog will be there to continue to pinch and poke him quite a bit and kind of just make his life a little bit harder.
So they were stacking some neutrals here. The Omni Knight looks like he'll be the floater. Fly's now heading towards top.
Yeah.
Let's help the Clockwork out a bit, and not someone to underestimate here. If you manage to isolate a hero with the Repel Battery Assault combo, well, ain't gonna happen here as the Impale comes out, but there's some slight kill potential if you catch the Lion out of position.
Yeah.
As for the PL, well, that is not going to happen.
2-minute rune's going to be popping shortly, and Z-Freak is already en route, and they anticipate that, so they think that they can get some extra aggression onto the Axe, which they do, bring him down to about half-life, and Z-Freak will be there.
Oh, we're still in the overlay, by the way.
And, can't get... Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Starladder production value as we get now in underway, so we've heard the calls as people... Okay, I look over now, people are freaking the hell out. Okay, everyone, calm it down. We're in and underway here. Didn't miss a whole lot of action.
The Dota gods had mercy. There were no kills.
Yeah,
so.
No kills, no first bloods. It was old school. It made you feel like you were back watching it on the old TV screen.
Yeah, listen, we're just trying to give you the 4:3 aspect ratio. You young whippersnappers don't know what it was like.
That's what it would have been like, but now in this new era, here's the full widescreen for you. So, all right, CS goes even neck and neck here as far as mid lane, both at 10 and 6, so a bit of a mirror match there. PL's at the top, 13 and 4, not too much trouble. Clockwork's down 4 CS and a DD rune, so he's actually trying to be the enforcer in this one. And for bottom lane here, Axe is at 9-2. Your Storm Pat Soul 7-1. So he's still trying to find his way, but the creeps do manage to find their way towards the tower, and he can work with some under tower CS here for now. So pretty quiet from both sides to lead things in. I'm not anticipating a whole lot of early action. We might need to wait till the level 6s start coming online before we get things a bit more spicy.
Yeah, laning stage is looking good so far for Complexity. As usual, with the Omni Knight pick, you are a little bit weak early on. They're going to dive onto Omega Pona here. Could well be our first blood. Does get the cask off, but CoL comes out, and there's your heal bomb. Easy takedown. Meanwhile, up top, it looks like they made a go on the Lion. It's a 1-for-1 exchange up there. They get 2-for-1 around the map with the first blood going to Complexity.
Things worked out. Got the Radio Dota there for the bottom first blood, and I had action on the top. As you can see, both sides. I was anticipating, and of course that's the caster curse, anticipating a bit of a slower start, and quickly we have 3 kills on the game. And an immediate return on the bottom from Omega Poner as they are cutting the wave.
Being chased, though. This could be trouble.
Just got the repel. They're waiting for it to wear off. Oh!
Swing and a miss.
Earthspike not going to catch. That could have been a kill, but it's not quite there.
Oh, man. This Axe Dazzle, though. They're just punishing VB bottom. Constantly creep cutting, and every time the wave comes in, they look for a tower dive.
Yeah, they're way behind the tower at this point. So, no respect right here coming out from Complexity on this bottom lane. One of their newest, freshest faces in TLK, representing the Axe, just kind of being the bodyguard here. This is my CS now, my full wave, and there's nothing you can do about it because they have no one to rotate on over there unless they get this Omni Knight to make the committed rotation towards the bottom, which he grabs up some boots, and he's thinking about it now, but he's not going to TP there. He's still dancing and walking about, but we'll have to see. We all Mercy, please. He's at level 4 in his clockwork, trying to contest the pull. Will grab the creeps and pull him back. So that's a bit of an early victory for him. But your PL continues to farm on up, and it looks like he's just going to go your standard get up. Has a Quelling Blade for now, but he's going to get the Aquila together. And I imagine what could be either the Power Treads or Tranquils. I've seen both. And a reliable Yasha, Diffusal Blade, and that's when your PL gets a bit scary.
Yeah, and he does farm reasonably quickly, especially when he's just left alone to his own devices here. So, for now, Voidboy's not really pressuring him too much. The clock just laning, but has very little kill potential unless ZYZ is like horribly out of position. So, now going to bring 3 down bottom, trying to deal with the constant pressure from this Axe Dazzle, but look at that. TLK, already a Vitality booster picked up.
Yeah.
Not an easy kill.
Going right for the Vanguard. He's on good timing. You can see Axes will have this kind of a dominant start, quickly throw together a Vanguard blink at 10 minutes time, and that's when things get very scary. And they can snowball through the mid game, and then you have your hands full with him, and you completely forget that there's a PL as well. And he'll be farmed up. Where, speaking of which, top lane pops out the cogs, removes Ziz's mana down to pretty much nothing at this point, but doesn't stop him from finding the farm. So here's Omni Knight now, looking to get involved with this bottom lane where they have been having a lack of respect. Z-Freak will spot out his rotation.
Do you really want to go on the Axe, though? Yeah, he's a beefy one.
He's a big one. Fly's thinking about it. He has 2 levels in Purification, none into the slow, no Orb of Venom.
Petzl even took an early point in Electric Vortex. We don't see this build much anymore. To be fair, normally Storm players are going mid for the most part. I think EG was running it almost exclusively mid. Maybe they ran it once for Sumail in the safe lane, but pretty much everybody runs a mid, and you always just see the max, the early max and the Remnant, the Overload, your maximum farm build, but hoping to maybe set up for a kill here. Doesn't seem like they're going to find it.
Yeah, it's just more to set up some extra defenses, but if you have people too close and you're splitting too much XP, Fly just goes back on creep stacking duty. Beyond's like, thank you, I'll take it from here. Starts farming him on down to try to get his advantage back in this mid lane. He's got 1,300 gold saved up. I'm not too sure where Beyond's going to look to take it, but top lane, they get the stun on the Mercy, please, followed up with the Lance. This time everything does connect, and your Clockwork could go down, but there's Fly. There to save the day. Could pop off a heal if you want to.
They do horse out. They do force out the TP though. So now they can pressure the bottom lane a lot more. They know there's no Omni Knight coming in, and TLK, he's going to be strutting up. There's no zip yet on Patsol. TP comes in for the Shadow Fiend. He's forced to come bottom to try and turn this.
They get the cask off from Omega Poner. Half of them goes on to the Axe, and they turn back for Z-Freak where the Maldic does connect, but they're already out the back door, and they could get away. Maybe a snipe of a raise here? Oh, the Grave is there to connect. That last tick of the Maldic could have taken them down, and the Maldic's now over. Z-Freak saves himself and makes it on away. So a rotation from your Shadow Fiend, and they don't get a kill.
Forcing out the Shadow Fiend TP. They'll be happy with that, and as well as the Omni Knight. It's just Complexity kind of pulling VB around the map, and again, a lot of this just comes down to the weakness of Omni Knight in the laning stage, as well as the fact that they pick Storm and Shadow Fiend. Some fairly squishy heroes, as they're 2 solos. They're a bit vulnerable to getting ganked. Complexity aren't really the best at ganking, but they are good at lane pressure with the Dazzle. Still, Voidboys have weathered the storm now. And they just, at this point, just want to get the level 6 on Storm, start turbo farming, and look for Mercy Please to be that hero that walks around the map, setting things up. Clock on the hunt now, along with Fly.
Swindle gets caught. Yep, there's a hook shot, and there's an immediate heal and repel. Swindle needs help, but Z-Freak's too far away to help him, plus the Grave was on cooldown. And so Lina is going to be taken down there. Voidboy's able to even things up 2-2.
This does leave top lane empty, and PL's going to farm it, but I think VB are okay with that. They want to see if the Axe has any stacks waiting, and they find them. That's a juicy double stack. Beyond going to clean it up.
He's going the mech build here. So no your traditional Yules. Oh look, it's fogged.
Axe off the TP'd in. He wants to fight.
And they're looking to come in from the south here. Beyond's already out. Sorry, buddy, Fly. You got to fend for yourself here. He's got no TP. Looking to create space. Come and get me, boys. I'm going to make you work for it. Let's go. I got no mana. Oh, there's the stun. Nice connection. And with that, they should be able to slowly chop him down. Can I get a dunk? Yes, I can. Chop on his holy head, and he goes down.
What happened?
Well, is forced to move around a lot. This is something Pat Soul will be pretty happy about. Now he has the lane to himself bottom. Picked up the Soul Ring. Bottle also online. Now I imagine we're just going to see him build right into that Bloodstone. I suppose it's possible to go the Orchid build, but knowing Pat Soul, this man does like to keep his farm up, go for late game, and Voidboys have great late game. The Omni Knight Storm duo. There are some ways to deal with it. As you mentioned, PL's a great defusal carrier, but still, if your PL's not in the fight, the hero's not always going to be everywhere. That combo is absolutely devastating. So I would look towards the Bloodstone for Pat Soul, especially with the Shadow Fiend going mech. That makes the Storm more of your hard carry, and with an offlane Clock, you definitely want a very fat one position hero.
Yeah, from what I've seen with Storms, like the Soul Ring grab early doesn't necessarily mean he's going to rush the Bloodstone, but for Pat Soul's playstyle and the farming player he is, it's just such a good farming accelerator that I don't see why he wouldn't go for it. Plus, you maybe have the benefit of building up some early charges, but there's the hook. They make the catch on the Z-Freak. He is able to get off the shallow grave here. So it's going to take him a little bit longer, but Swindle, misses with the LSA. Gets him with the nuke, but at that point, it doesn't matter. They get their kill onto the little support. They have a thought about maybe going for Roche here. Instead, opponent will use this opportunity to maybe ward the high ground. No, he second guesses it. Maybe fakes it. Mind games, man. Moves into the pit, doesn't plan it, and you see the pings come out from Complexity. And if he doesn't plant a ward there and they drop a sentry, that would be pretty funny. Instead, puts the ward back over here to still scout out those ancient stacks. But pressure's on bottom lane, where they're making a go onto the tier 2.
They're not getting much mileage out of this Lina. 0-1, hasn't taken the tower, did not slow down the Shadow Fiend at all. Feels like Swindle needs to get more accomplished across the map. He is trying to push in the mid lane, but Witch Doctor here to hold it. Now the Shadow Fiend mech comes out before the Axe blink. Very good window for some potential fights from Voidboys, and they're setting up for a jump on the bottom lane.
Yep, it's Axe. There's the ball lightning forward, Vortex pull, a couple of Graves, and not going to be enough. Yeah, it couldn't even. He just died so fast. Z-Freak couldn't get close. It's only level 1 Grave, so you got to be pretty close to get it, and it just was not close enough. Meanwhile, they are able to finally finish that tier 1 in the mid lane, so Swindle gets that worth there. And all the meanwhile, top lane, for a while there, it was Ziz farming up in the jungle and allowing Fog to kind of build up his own farm because he's trying to get a Blink Dagger on this line. He actually already has about 1,600 gold, and taking down these towers certainly would help. Ziz makes his return. He's got Vlad's here, and it looks like he's going to go for a Yasha thereafter. So, a little different. But it looks like each PL kind of have their own little flavor as far as item progression. But they could be in trouble. Double rotation. They go on the fly. They get the quick finger and finish them off. Now the cogs fly out, and they want to go ahead and try to isolate Fog here. And they will. There's going to be the hookshot connection from behind. And now the battery assault, and he will slowly be brought down. It's a 1-for-1 trade of supports from both sides. But the tier 1 does go down in the end. Beneficial for Complexity.
They're going to pin out Swindle here in the river. Have that ward that spotted him swinging around. And Pat Soul not going to get caught out by this. It seems he should be able to back off. Can they push the tower now for Complexity? The Omni Knight still not level... Well, actually, no. Is level 6 now. Okay. Still, I think without the Axe Blink, it's kind of hard for KoL to take objectives. They basically have to walk at your tower, and you have a lot of time to counter-initiate. You are pushing into the mech from Beyond, who's now up to another 1,000 gold. He's going to take the tower mid. VP are they're looking pretty strong here, and well, Complexity may take the tier 1 bottom. I don't know if Voidboys will give this up freely. They are starting to bring their supports down, but they're going to be too late. Instead, they'll try to go for a trade somewhere else.
Yeah. Look at Complexity, we're going to pull back, but maybe once they scout out and see that Beyond's still mid lane, they second guess it and go back in.
Maybe they will hold it. But yeah, Voidboys kind of ran towards mid, then they came back bottom. Little unsure if they'd be able to hold the tower, but they've got the gang here now. And Clock is ready.
Yeah, he gets a repel. He's trying to get someone. There's the hook. It does go on to Axe, but they have Grave there on the outside. There's going to be the nuke. They're waiting for the repel, and the Laguna goes through, but the repel I think was still there, but Mercy's going to be fine. Gets repelled again. Grave goes out. Axe should go down there after. Pat Soul in trouble, able to ball lightning away. They pop the mech, and they're going to be fine. They get the Axe kill, and they lose no one in exchange. 6-4 advantage for Voidboys here, and if they want, they could follow through with a tier 1 takedown.
Despite the great start for the Axe, he's 2-2.
Yeah.
Still no blink. And I have to say, this Clockwork Omni Knight combo is just so good together. As they jump in onto Swindle Melons, they'll pull him in, bring him down with the heal. It's actually not just the Clock, it's also the Storm. They both really benefit from these initiations.
Yeah.
And then get the heal follow-up to help keep them alive. Very nice combo. We often talk about the Storm repel, but the heal goes super well with him, too.
Yep, and they get a kill on the Z-Freak over here. Mercy Please moves past that tier 1 tower, catches out a little support, and takes him down solo. Very big grab, and yeah, that just seems to be the name of the game, and it's working for him right now. Take your repel, get on in there, and make a fight happen. I'll follow it up, drop down the heal, and by that point, we should be taking this one home. We have so much sustain here, now with the mech as well in the hand of Shadow Fiend.
At this point, the way the game's developing, it seems the blinks will be the key for Complexity. Fogged has not joined too many fights. He's been off, as you pointed out, just farming the top lane. His blink is coming soon. He's going to have it in about 200 gold. And to go with that, the Axe is not that far off. 500 gold or so for him. So once they get the double blink, it's really on Complexity to buy some smokes, get some aggressive wards up, and start making things happen around the map. As it stands right now, they are going to get out farmed. Shadow Fiend and Storm both farming well with an Omni Knight backing them up. Sure, you have a Diffusal Blade on the PL, that's nice and all, but it is not necessarily just going to win you the game outright. PL can be the late game carry, but we've seen in general that the PL picks struggle to end games. I mean, just look at any of Cloud9's recent games where they go, 70, 80, 100 minutes. The one game where they ended up losing. The hero is not the guaranteed siege engine that he used to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be a good timey window for Voidboys soon, and I think the pressure is really gonna be on Complexity to make something happen. The double blinks still being farmed up, but there's your first one, and the second one coming soon.
I think also what it is maybe people don't quite know exactly what this new PL can really offer, and they feel like they can take fights when they really can't, and once he gets that Diffusal, they end up getting overran from this new PL, and next thing you know, he's able to push from the base, but as the game goes longer, they figure things out, then things get a bit more complex, but yeah, that is the one thing that Complexity have going for them, maybe anticipating they were going to be doing most of this early and mid-game as a 4 versus 5, maybe trying to at least break even for the better. But
here comes your smoke, though. Yeah. They have the blink on Fog, jump in onto Beyond the Finger to start it off, but he's got a Yule's and a mech available. They can't bring him down in time. Gets up the mech. Oh, just got him. That was close.
That two-man spike as soon as Mercy came in was definitely a big one right there from Fog. The TLK still alive. The Grave comes out. They manage to finish off both of them. And here comes Pat Soul, jumps in from behind, gets Lena. Axe goes down next. The Death Ward goes down. Zizzy, it's a lot of damage and has to back away. But when the dust settles, it ends up being a 2 for 2. A mid laner and an off laner from each side. About break even here. So now Pat Soul's going to be able to grab up a sweet Invis rune and walk back away.
I'd say a very slight win for CoL just because they killed the Shadow Fiend, who is incredibly big. Yule's mech already. Well, Pat Soul is getting towards his Bloodstone now.
He's going right for it. He's got the point booster now.
He is going to start out farming this PL, and despite clearing out the H and stack and getting the early Vlad's Yasha, he's having trouble keeping up.
The Diffusal's the big one, though. We'll have to see what he wants to do once he grabs it.
He's just committing for the tower mid. Even going to repel himself. We'll get called under tower, though. I don't know if he gets this one. He's maybe bitten off more than he can chew.
Yeah, blink stun from Fog here. There it is. Blink stun. See you later. That is not your tower. That is our tower. We'll deny it. And yeah, he pings it, and unfortunately, that's not what he wanted to happen. So tower denied. Voidboys not getting that one, but at least it's an access point removed as they take out both the Tier 1 bottom and mid. Maybe their own option as far as moving into the Roche Pit becomes a bit more plausible here. But also, as Tier 1 of the top lane seems pretty appetizing.
Swindle does have Yules now. He may try to set up here on Patsol. But it is daytime, so it's tough to be the one who gets in range.
Yeah, needs more than just this Lina for a strong defense. And it looks like Voidboys are completely rotating for this top. They want this tower. You can see even from behind, Fly coming to that Tier 2. There's the hookshot jump onto Lina. Yeah, she self-fuels. Mercy pops out the Blade Mill. Nothing coming out quite yet, but she might need to dish it. Maldic flies. Graves is going to keep her alive for now, but she'll ultimately be brought down. So she'll try to get a Laguna off before she goes. Does. And Poner will be brought down in exchange. Guardian comes out, but it's a little too late to save Poner. And now Patsol could be in trouble. Low mana, turns back onto Fog, very low on life. The right click's going to connect from beyond, and he gets the kill. A 2-for-2 trade, and there's going to be the heal on Patsol to keep him nice and alive. Complexity step away, as they are very low on mana, but they still consider a defense here. The Voidboys keep on moving forward, even though their Guardian Angel's down and they've lost 2. I think they're going to pull away. Patsol goes to bottom to find the farm there, and it looks like they'll have to save this objective for a later date.
Great defensive support play across the board. The Omni Knight's just been doing work. Considering how much he moved around early, he is just in excellent shape right now. Level 9, has the Arcane Boots and Soul Ring. Now you can go into that Force Staff, Yule Scepter, and your first kind of utility item to help out the team. And at the same time, we saw a really good Shallow Grave there from the Dazzle by Z-Freak. The heal came out as well. It's just tough for both teams to get these quick, decisive kills, but they're going to look for one bottom.
Yeah, they got Patsol. They blink in.
The finger and the Laguna, the dueling nukes. Got him. Zap, zap.
He'd just gotten a charge on that Bloodstone. It was fresh, but now he's maybe put down to 6 now, as he looks to unfortunately get caught out right there. Maybe a bit careless with his side farm, and you just can't really anticipate all the time a lion blinking in from the dark.
Even has the lane ward and it's daytime, but that shows you how good Complexity's initiation is.
Yeah.
Blink Hex, too strong.
Too strong, too quick. And
well, he has the Bloodstone, so he'll lose a little bit less gold. He'll respawn quicker. And he's still keeping up for the most part. It's a reasonably fast Bloodstone. I think Petzel's still fine with that 1 death, but the key is going to be don't start racking them up. Just go right back to farming. Maybe look for some sort of gank attempt with the Clockwork. And that's the plan now. Voidboys smoked up. They do get eyes on Fogged here from their ward top. Where do they want to go with this? They're pretty far away if they want to take that fight.
Yeah, maybe hope someone pops up in mid lane along the way, but I don't think they'll be fortunate enough to scout anyone out. The closest was Z-Freak, but he's already out looking to help out Ziz. So they trek up the river. TLK's there, but he's got a DD. And it looks like they're second-guessing where they want to go. Now they turn back and they scout out the Phantom Lancer, and they want to consider a go onto him. We'll see if they can get it here. They have Clockwork for the initiation. Their smoke does expire. Creeping in. There's the rocket. There's PL walking back and away. Do they hook? No. They don't commit for this one. So, looks like Voidboys went out on a bit of an expedition, but they didn't find any treasure.
And that Doppelganger just makes him a very unsatisfying Clockwork target.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want Patsol there with an Orchid, but only has the Bloodstone for now. They tried to bait the Shadow Fiend mid, but CoL did not take the bait. So, okay, let's 5-man, says Voidboys. They're going top.
Oh, hook shot catches out Axe, working with the side camp here.
CoL, though, pulling Mercy Please pretty far away. Do they still want to go on this? They're going to.
Axe is in trouble. Maldic been popped, and Axe goes down thereafter. Looks like Voidboys try to take the one and walk away, but will they let him? Fog, does he blink forward and try to catch someone here?
They're going to smoke to chase.
Smoke, a little bit extra move speed. Oh, it's too far. Oh, or is it? Gets the sight. Oh, does not catch the Earth Spike there. Gets a brief glance at Fly. Tries to make the stun happen, but it's not.
And they have a Repelled Storm. They may look to jump someone. In just a moment. Axe fought back for this, but here we go.
There's the pull. Swindle. Patsol could get it. Requiem flies out. Swindle barely alive. The finger flies on forward, and, well, Fog does go down, and it looks like the quick exchange is from Clockwork. But there's going to be the jump from Patsol looking to go into Ziz. No more mana, though, in the tank. Beyond looking to muscle forward and get it done with right clicks and raises, but TLK interjects. Says, don't go any further. Come to me. And he's going to draw them down.
Yules in 5. Is he in range? Oh, there's your blink out.
All right. Well, good spread there from Complexity. They do ultimately lose 2 in exchange for the 1.
And there was the axe death earlier as well as the buyback.
Yes.
So again, Voidboys coming on top, and
they didn't have to use a Guardian Angel there either.
They just don't have the. It just doesn't seem like they're able to get as good initiation. It's the Clockwork Storm. Just such a good combo to jump quickly, pick someone off, and those cogs really did a lot of work in the last fight. It pushed like 4 complexity heroes back. If they tried to run in, they have to run past cogs into a death ward. Couldn't jump onto the onto the Witch Doctor to cancel it, and just great zoning in general from Voidboys. They take the fight. The BKB comes out for Shadow Fiend. Orchid being worked on by Patsol. Once they get this Orchid, it's going to be very tough for Complexity to take future fights. Patsol will be the man in the front lines.
As he's been many a time for this team. We'll see if he can do it again here against this tough opponent in Complexity. Hook shot towards mid, catch on to Fog, and he's going to get off the Hex. But Mercy Please gets help from Patsol. Grave is going to be there. Fog,
Felina coming in.
Vortex, Swindle gets the Yules off. Fog's going to be safe. He's able to blink away and get healed up and earned. Now Swindle could be in trouble. BKB is going to be popped there from beyond. They move forward and finish off the Lina. Well, where they can't get Fog, they get a better treat there in the mid lane Lina of Swindle Melons. Voidboys will take what they can. They do commit a lot towards the mid lane to get it, while Ziz is able to finish off the tier 1 on the bottom. The Voidboys, they're happy to fight, and they continue to scout out this mid lane and at least add pressure on this tier 2.
Enter rat mode. Ziz is just going to be constantly split pushing. He's not bringing as much to the fights right now as the Shadow Fiend or the Storm, the big cores of Voidboys, but the Repel beyond as Fog goes in for a Blink Impale, maybe thinking about a Finger. But he is a good rat, and he already has his Manta Diffusal, so the Orchid's not really going to give him too much pause. I don't think Voidboys have much of a way to catch the PL at all in general. They may need to wait till they farm a Hex to deal with him, and
yeah,
that's going to be a ways off. So they'll probably look for other objectives, try to take the towers, get some aggressive wards down, gank supports, or even the other cores. They've had a feeding frenzy on Swindle Melons this game. He has just struggled from start to finish. Level 13, but in terms of net worth, he's behind his own axe. He is near the Clockwork's net worth, only 1,600 up, and because of that, it feels like they're almost playing 4v5 a lot of the time.
Yeah, and they're putting a lot on the shoulders of Ziz and his PL, in hopes that maybe they could be enough of a backstaff to allow him to bring in the win. That's a lot of pressure, because as the game goes on, like you said, Patsol's going to be able to get more. Sheep Stick, he'll have the Orchid, and things become harder even for your PL at that point, because he could get easily focus fired, and plus it's going to be hard enough to break through them if he's not already getting the Diffusal and trying to take out the Omni Knight. There's going to be a Guardian Angel right there at the back. So, and your Omni Knight already got a Soul Ring and Arcane, so that's a lot of commitment just to make sure he has the mana ready for everything.
This was a roaming support Omni Knight.
Yeah.
You look at the Dazzle bottom, he had a really fun lane. Axe Dazzle, just bullying early on. They were getting kills, applying pressure, but the Omni Knight's just been in the right place at the right time more often than not later on this game. And now he can build towards the Ags, the Force Staff. We'll see what the choice is here, but Boys, they're the team that's a bit stronger now, and they want to try to take advantage of that. They're going to walk into the pit, begin to work on this Roche. Not the best Roche lineup, but they do have the heal and a little minus armor, so they'll be healthy as they look to take this down.
He also has a regen bottled up, so whatever damage he takes, he can easily kind of pull out from there.
And he's got a BKB, so not a great hero to jump.
But they're going to be able to get this tier 2 top lane for Complexity from Ziz being able to push with his PL. He's got near 2k gold now farmed up after already having the Manta and the Diffusal.
I think both teams are pretty happy with that. Complexity are not really in a position to fight. And at the same time, Voidboys getting an Aegis on Storm and denying it to Complexity is obviously very good for them. So it's maybe a slightly better trade for Voidboys, but considering the position of the game, I don't think Complexity would be unhappy with that. At least they get something.
Let's all take a moment, please, as it looks like the Voidboys need a potty break.
Fly's got to unzip his Fly here. He has some bladder issues, apparently.
Come on, guys. It's only like, what, 30
Game
minutes
one of your best
hour?
of 3, 30 minutes,
this,
27 minutes into the first game.
Maybe it's nerves or something. He's feeling the...
Maybe, does anybody want to, a little back massage, perhaps? Grab a snack or something?
Yeah, no problem.
Maybe we can...
We're on schedule, right? We were only...
Cook them up some eggs or... Yeah. What's your food of choice here if you want to cook a meal for the Voidboys so they
real quick?
They're nourished and ready to continue game one.
cup of noodles. Just get a banana.
Okay. You're not giving them the 5-course gourmet meal.
No, we're already 40 minutes behind. Let's get this pea together here. They have 10 minutes of allotted time to get this done, but
that was a quick one. He ran.
Wow, I guess he had a bucket by his seat or something. So he's done.
I don't really want to know how that was so
just
quick.
Just a quick hand sanitizer. We're ready to go.
maybe one of those South Park moments.
The bedpan.
Mom! That World of Warcraft episode.
Dedication to Dota. I hope they have that ready at the LAN though. So we'll see here. Voidboys, 16-11. They have the kill advantage. Net worth also in their favor. Not a lot, just about 2K. Credit to Complexity to kind of hold their own still, whether that be breaking down these side towers. You saw them take down that tier 2 just previously in the top lane. But Voidboys are on the assault. They're looking to not allow this PL to really flourish. They have an upper hand right now, and they don't want to.
They want to play aggressive, like map control Dota. They get the gem on fly. You can see 3 of them posting up mid. They're gonna walk around the map, D-ward, try to take some tier 2s, and basically remove all kind of access points for Complexity that remain on the map. So I don't know what Complexity can really do in a 5v5 clash. They may just have to let these go. Just focus on your split push game. As Voidboys showed the Storm and Shadowfee mid, you know the whole team's there. There's really no situation where these two would not be together if they're not 5-manning. So immediately they'll start split pushing.
This might begin to feel like a lot of what we saw in game number 1 between Wheel and Tinker, where they had the PL and they just accepted that the towers were going to go down.
But can they accept their racks going down?
I
think it's too early for that.
I mean, no, they have to be there when it gets to high ground and be there to defend. But, you know, Ziz does have a boots of travel. Hookshot will actually miss right there.
That's like, I feel like that's Mercy Please's first miss of the game. This guy has been close to flawless up until now.
Well, it looks like with that miss hook, Voidboys might pull back from this point, but they feel confident. I mean, they have the Aegis here for Pat Soul on his Storm Spirit. 10 charges, Orchid all ready to go. They're confident, man. They want to get these wrecks and get out of there.
You're gonna use the Shadow Fiend, but Pat Soul's ready to counter initiate. In he goes. Big zip onto Z-Freak, straight onto the Dazzle. They do manage to get the call on him under the tower. Now the Dazzle can keep himself alive. BKB from Shadow Fiend. Not the best take here by Voidboys. They get no kills. They don't force out any big spells. Now Mercy Please on their way out. The Omni Knight ult is available. Not gonna happen. Great stun coming in from Fog. They'll bring down 2. They hold the base. And now the chase is on. Very nice defense and a bit too aggressive there. Pat Soul leading his team into harm's way.
He really thought he was going to be able to get that quick grab onto the Dazzle, but the quick call from Axe just proves to put Voidboys in a very interesting situation where they had to commit pretty deep into the base to just try to help out Pat Soul by that point, and that was a situation they did not want to be in. Even with the whiff stun there at the start from Complexity, they put up a really strong defense, and they get to kind of prolong this game a bit further, which is certainly what they want to do.
All of a sudden, your PL has the Vit booster up, building towards the heart. Ziz is getting there, and because of the way Beyond has itemized, even though he's even on net worth, this is not really a Shadow Fiend that's poised to go late game. He could transition, but he's got 3 utility items. The BKB picked up early. It's already down to 8 seconds.
It's a lot of defense.
The Yule's mech. So the lineup is really built around just taking this Aegis, barreling down mid, and getting at least a tier 3, maybe force out a buyback or 2. Ideally, you get the late of Rex. They don't get the job done.
Not going to be enough damage at this point. They need more. It's a lot of defense for your Shadow Fiend, and you're putting a lot on just his base right click with the help of the Necromastery, but I don't think it's going to be enough when you got this PL up in your grill as he continues to push out this bottom lane here. And, well, Complexity maybe feeling a bit of a morale boost after that nice little defense. DD at the bottom of the river here. Ziz could scout it out here temporarily, but Voidboys look to shake that one off. They didn't have to commit a Guardian Angel, so that one's still going to be up and ready to go as both your Omni Knight and Pat Soul and his Storm push this top lane. Pat Soul has about 3,500 gold. I'm anticipating a Sheepstick to be the next choice here.
I think it's either that or the BKB. You do have the Shed, you have the Repel, but there is a Diffusal Blade on the field, so BKB is an option. There's still Berserker's Call to go through it. Lina has an Ags. It's not a great BKB game. So yeah, if it's not BKB, I think definitely the Sheep, and it could be the item that turns this around. Maybe you can catch the PL off split pushing. There's no solution as of yet for Ziz if the Hex comes out. So yeah, I think most likely Hex, slight chance of BKB, but
yeah.
Either way, Complexity, not only do they hold the high ground, but there was 2 minutes left for Voidboys after that fight ended and right when their team was respawning. And they just didn't want to go for it.
Oh, he gets the repel and jumps right up to try and make a go onto Ziz, but Swindlemelon was there. He flies right past him and leaves his Omni Knight behind, who gets annihilated. And now he's got to get the hell out of there. Does the Ball Lightning TP and will make it out, but that was just unfortunate timing. He thought he had a committed jump onto the PL, but Omni Knight goes down to Swindlemelons instead.
I think he was debating the Hex, and then he had he believed he was repelled, and he just jumps on top, and then instantly the PL just destroys him with the Diffusal Blade. And so then after that, he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna have any mana for these fights if I don't get a BKB.
Yep.
Do it with flair.
Seems like a necessary item, but still, no great solution for the PL Rat. No great solution for the split push.
I'm nervous for the late game here of Voidboys, man. And the Shadow Fiend, I guess he's trying to build it up. He's got one ultimate orb, but that's just step one to build a very precious, what I imagine, Scotty, which he will definitely need the right click. Because Pat Soul has to step off for a BKB at this point. I don't know. The old TP backing away, and it looks like it'll be a bit of a calm period here from both sides, but Complexity...
Actually, does have the completed Eye of Scotty. Okay. He's a little more farm.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
I was kind of wondering where his gold was, considering the net worth, but... Do they push with this? I think they still want the next Roche. Maybe they go for a smoke now. Yep. Oh, spot... Well, it should have been spotted out.
Yep. Well, there was one board very close by.
Not sure if they didn't actually ping, but they may have just sonneted and said something in TeamSpeak.
Well, fortunately for them, the majority of them are at the bottom. So, it looks like no one will be there. And maybe they do know based on the body language they are nowhere near that area. They leave Pat Soul to push out this top lane. Beyond will show himself, so... Looks like they'll just take out the outer tower here. Relatively easy. This is not the fight Complexity want to take. They're happy to just let that outer tower go down. And continue to put a lot here onto Ziz, who is just about to have the heart. After this ancient stack, if he wants to buy out for it, he can get it.
Kind of a slow game right now. It's really for Voidboys just the next Roche. It seems that's what they're waiting for. They don't want to break high ground without the Aegis, and this is going to be a big Aegis for them. If they don't get the job done, if they fail a push again, by that point you're looking at a PL who's got completed heart, probably the next full item ready, assuming Complexity wins a fight when they're holding. You know, your Butterfly could be coming out at that point. We've seen the Abyssal Blade as a decent pickup for PLs if it goes later. Something Eternal Envy's been experimenting with on his... He's had a lot of tinkering time. We've seen a lot of, like, 8-slotted PL games out of him lately. It could happen again. Rocket is coming in towards bottom, but won't spot Complexity here, who are... They're laying a bit of a trap in the side shot. They're going to try to show Swindle mid and make this less obvious.
Oh, they're out of there.
Just kidding. They're going to run.
Both teams trying to maybe set up something for a good, quick team fight, good, quick pick-off to follow through with some... quick objectives, but coming up short. Both teams playing you can just tell, even from the last series, very important. They're playing a bit more on nerves here. Not as relentless as we see from a lot of our American teams.
It's a lot tougher for Voidboys to initiate now. If you go in with Storm and he's got the repel on, you can just defuse it. If he BKBs, you maybe just Laguna him in the face and call him, grave the target that he's focusing on. It's not a guaranteed easy initiation for the Storm to get a kill. If the clock goes in first, they've got a Force Staff on the Lion now, a Force Staff on the Axe, so 2 ways to deal with it. Plus they've got the PL who can just jump out of there with the Mansa style maybe, the Doppelganger is very nice for that. They have a lot of solutions for the Voidboys initiation, and because they can't find easy kills, they're very reluctant to push. They had the initiation the last time, they just didn't choose the right moment and the right place to take it. That one fight, it's just like all the air went out of the balloon.
Yeah. They do good pressure on bottom, but at that same time, Complexity find pressure themselves for top lane and mid lane. It's enough to force Voidboys back after the pressure's there from Complexity. They pull back in a way, so they're just happy to kind of run this clock longer and longer. They feel like their 5-man just gets better with time, and they'll be able to take it right back to Voidboys when it gets to that crucial late game moment. Yeah, I think I'm with them on that. Complexity... The longer they draw this out, the PL becomes that much more scary. I don't know how you get more scary than this. I mean, he's already 5-slotted and holding a gem at this point.
It's always going to be about initiation for Voidboys. You mentioned a Hex for Pat Soul. He lost all his mana to the PL Diffusal Blade. He's like, okay, I'm buying a BKB. But now he can farm towards the Hex, up to 4,000 gold. When he gets that, that is the tool that can let them actually get clean, easy kills that you can't just mat off the silence anymore. You can't just necessarily grave a hero or grave yourself. The Force Staffs won't necessarily be able to be used if you're disabled by that Hex, so I think that's the big item for Voidboys, but Complexity are just playing this very carefully. They're not taking too many risks. You see them sitting very far back on their side of the map. And in the meantime, Ziz continues to push the lanes out. They may find Patsoul here with the axe, though, but there's no follow-up. As TOK makes his way into his own jungle. The gem... Oh, by the way, I guess we never mentioned it, but they did lose their gem on that big push, on top of everything else, so... Because of that, Complexity has been able to really maintain their map control a lot better. There's a single hill ward, but that will now be removed by Z-Freak.
Yeah, look like the gem was briefly held there for the PL, but Z-Freak now has it. Fly's gem, that is. And he'll be able to, de-ward and take control of this map slowly but surely, and it's just feeling like more and more that Voidboys are, not as aggressive as they used to be. Now, they're quickly realizing that they might be the ones on the defensive soon enough, or at least might need to consider some potential Roche in-game engagement. Oh, Sec, maybe now Complexity needs to pee.
Stressful game.
It's only game number 1, fellas. Let's get those leaky pipes out of the way and get back underway.
Do you need a bathroom break? You want me to take over?
No, I'm good. I'm ready. No. Interesting day, right back into the action. Did you get to catch a lot? I didn't get to see the final... I was just dying because I had to start adjusting my sleep schedule back from China to America, so I didn't get to see the end of the Major All-Stars. I know who won, but...
It was a really good series. Empire were just exhausted. I think they played 3 best of 3s, or maybe it was 2. I think it was 3. They had a long day, and just didn't quite have anything left in the tank at the end, but IG looked really solid. This is a bit unfortunate. I felt like Empire didn't bring their A game in the final set. If they played as well as they did in the other series, it may have been closer, but IG do look like a force. The addition of Burning seems to be making a big difference for that team. You know, it's like before, if 430 didn't get farmed, it felt like they had nothing, but now they've got the B-God to fall back on.
One of these teams could have the opportunity to play against
they may find Ziz. He just used his doppelganger into
Can they catch him? He slips out, gets forced up and above, but Patsoul is on the chase. Sees Fog, wants to get him down, but the Hex is there. Quick finger, they're trying to blow him up, but they can't do enough damage. Guardian Angel will now come out. Maybe a bit preemptive there, but they're now able to possibly turn back. They see Z-Freak, the Dazzle, gets his own grave off. Look who's creeping in from behind, though, onto Beyond. This is split from both sides. Death Ward going to be committed and dropped, but the axe gets on out. Mercy Please gets the kill on the secondary support, and it ends up being a 2 for none right now.
They have used everything, though. The Requiem, the Death Ward, the GA. Complexity of a buyback on the Dazzle. And they can start poking and prodding here. There's not a whole lot of defensive spells. Nice stun by Swindle. He's been quiet all game, but finally gets something going. Ziz, again with the Doppelganger, caught out in the entirety of VB, and he's going to work here with the auto attacks. Brings Patsoul low. He may have to Bloodstone Suicide. It doesn't look like he's running away from this one, hanging onto it. Another Lance, he doesn't Suicide, gives up the kill. And now Beyond, it's his turn to TP out. Clockwork brought down on the rear by the axes. Omega Pawner also to retreat. And now they start to scramble for solutions to the illusions. It'll be a casual Maelstrom coming out for Shadow Fiend. Very uncommon item, but honestly, he may need it. These illusions are a real pestilence as the game moves along.
Yeah, they don't have a great way to deal with these illusions. Like, we even saw in Game 1, the Troll had to grab up a Battle Fury as his, like, 7th item choice, just to, like, okay, I have my hands full with all these illusions. We gotta find a way to cleave through it. So if you don't have your Cleave or Battle Fury, you know, Maelstrom seems to be your next best option.
The annoying thing with PL nowadays is it's just as quickly as you kill them, he's got a new set ready to go.
Yeah,
you know?
They die quick, but they come back so fast, especially when you got a Manta. Pop the Manta, do a quick Doppelganger, which is already up every 10 seconds. I think it's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, you chuck out the Lance there.
The Lance, and even just a basic right click. I mean, it's just...
It feels like the hero always has illusions, basically. Yeah. It's annoying to play against.
So having to deal with that seems to be an obstacle in itself here for Voidboys, and they are quickly realizing that possibly their lineup might have been ready to reach its expiration point. If they were able to come out just that much stronger and more profitable in that mid lane push, things could be very different, but that is certainly not the case here. And it's Complexity going on the aggressive, maybe feeling a bit confident after that fight. They smoke up now, and they are heading right through Voidboys territory here. Rocket flies overhead. Will not scout anyone out here.
Oh, this could be really nice for Complexity.
Oh,
no
man.
vision right now. They have the axe down on the low ground. They're going to pop the Dazzle ult preemptively. Smoke about to break. Fogged.
Oh, jump in call. They get it on the Beyond. There it is. Spirit Lance falls immediate. Guardian Angel as the Laguna flies out. And the Death Ward goes down. Requiem to fly. Does connect. Fogg's going to be your first casualty of battle. And now Pat Soul looking to grab the secondary support onto Z-Freak. Even a hookshot follow through. Can they take down Z-Freak? They can. Right thereafter. Back into the heat of the battle. Fly is going to be dropped as Z-Freak looks to unleash his fury beyond back from the dead, or at least back from being caught out. Moves on in. Takes down 3. Ultra kill, though, for Pat Soul. They're looking to get 5 here. Z-Freak trying to be the last survivor to make it out. Can he get away? No. Raze is there. 60 life. Got him. Killing spree for Beyond. A huge 5-man wipe. And oh, Voidboys will now secure a Roche.
So Fogged, if we look at where the fight was happening, he was like right here. He blinked over here, and then he got silenced by the storm. So he never got off any of his spells in that fight. No finger. I don't even think he got off a Hex or an Impale, and I think that really hurt them in the fight. It was a decent call from the Axe, but they weren't able. They were forced back because the Witch Doctor used his ultimate and the Shadow Fiend Requiem, so they didn't want to stand and fight. And without the Lion's reliable stuns to keep the fights going, they really struggle to lock anyone down. The Storm just runs roughshod over the supports, and now he's got an extra insurance policy here in the upcoming fights with the Aegis. Bit unfortunate the way the smoke broke. They saw just the Shadow Fiend around the corner. Didn't see anyone else. The Lion kind of blinks past him looking for an Omni Knight pickoff, or maybe even trying to jump the Witch Doctor, but just didn't go their way. And on top of all of the kills, Dakota, and the Aegis, they get their gem back on the fly. So massive swing in gold, momentum, and experience now going Voidboys' way.
It's definitely the best situation you can ask for if you're a Voidboys fan, because you come out huge in a fight like that, you lose pretty much no one. You go into Roche, you get that, and now the game is back in control. And Pat Soul with that quick reaction, the second that Fog does that big blink in, he just gets the Orchid, they kill him, and he jumps right over everyone to get that Dazzle on the other side. And after they clean out the support staff, it's just getting rid of the meat and potatoes of the fight. And well,
yeah, and they don't have a Yules yet on the Dazzle, no Ghost Scepter. He's really got no way to protect himself aside from just being quick on the grave. But if he's always using it on himself, then Voidboys can just focus other heroes. So it's like it's low commitment for Pat Soul, right? He zips in on the Dazzle. Dazzle graves himself. Okay, I'll just go kill someone else.
Yeah, and that was a good early defensive weave as well. And even with all that bonus armor, they
a lot of magic damage on Voidboys. The Shadow Fiend especially, to some extent, the Storms.
Now
but it was a really good weave.
It's tier 3's up, still got a third of its life there, but with Voidboys having the Aegis, they're confident to keep on pushing. And,
there's no split push. They got the wards up on both hills, so you leave the base, you're liable to be spotted.
There's a Lincoln Sphere, by the way, on Pat Soul. I never noticed that. It's going to be going a bit more defensive here.
Good versus the Blink Hex initiation. Also can block that Diffusal as well when you're repelled. So
BKB repel Lincolns. I don't know what you're going to do to take down anyone here. Pat Soul gets the repel right now.
He is not the hero you want to focus.
Well, you might have no choice.
How do they break the Lincolns? I think they have to chop him, right, to break it.
You can force staff it, I guess.
Well, not when he's repelled though, right? Nope. So when he's repelled, I think they have to chop him just to break the Lincolns. That's actually a really cool combo.
Yeah, that's a bit ridiculous. So yeah, they stack it all on him, and there's not much he can do. And that's just to break his first life. He still has the Aegis.
This is where maybe Diffusal Blade is not the counter to Omni Knight. Granted, you can still purge off other heroes who get the Guardian Angel. It's not useless by any means.
No,
it's just annoying here. They are working on this tower. This is where we want to keep an eye on buybacks. 4 for the Dire, 4 for both sides.
I like this call. I mean, they're continuing to add pressure there, but it's clear they can't quite break in the base, so they want to make sure all the lanes are still pressured into the Complexity side. So Pat Soul takes it upon himself to move towards the top and clear out those waves and get it back in. And the other Voidboys, I guess, maybe had eyes towards the bottom, but they want to take advantage of the farm. If Complexity are stuck inside their base defending, then they're not out there farming, which means that Voidboys can just continue to try to get ahead little by little here.
The other thing is that PL's pretty much done.
Yeah.
This is where you can go mad scientist, start changing out items, Maybe you drop the Vlads, get an Abyssal Blade, perhaps pick up like a Daedalus or something, but he's pretty much done. So they need to get farm on their other heroes, but nobody else is really that safe to leave the base.
Alright, Beyond.
Maybe they can win late game that way. Just get everyone out, get like the super stack Shadow Fiend, super stack Storm, and PL taking all this gold doesn't really help anyone. Speaking of which, PL is the one hero that does not have buyback.
Yeah, he bought out for his last item there, the butterfly, but there's going to be the committed jump from Pat Soul. This is like a deja vu. He tried, this time he does get the dazzle, and now they move on in. They see Swindle Melons, who's going to self-fuels inside the cogs, gets the stun off, but she ultimately will go down. Double buyback comes out from Complexity. Fly, also in a bit of trouble, has no more mana for the Guardian Angel, but makes his way out, and now Ziz gets Yulesed up. Requiem flies out thereafter, and the right-click start coming in. There's a big double stun onto 2. Mercy Please will be brought down with the finger, but triple kill for Pat Soul as he continues to move on forward, has yet to even use the Aegis, mind you. Swindle on his buyback life here.
He almost wants to use it. He needs this mana. Shadow Fiend's gonna buy back. They're coming back into the fight. Can they actually burst him down? They don't have mana even for a Hex right now. They'll chuck him up in the air. Might be able to just zip out of here quickly. No! Perfect timing by Swindle on the stun. They get the job done. That's a 5-man wipe along with the Shadow Fiend buyback. But Complexity used 3 buybacks in their own. And the Aegis was popped in the end. So I suppose when the dust settles, it's still a win for Complexity, even with the triple buyback. That's a great hold. I was gonna say, Pat Soul just controlled that fight so beautifully. He jumped onto the Dazzle, killed the Dazzle off here, then he chased the Lion top, killed him off here. Neither support did anything for round 1 of the fight, but buybacks, so good for holding the high ground. And once the BKBs wear off, that's where the PL gets really scary. The Diffusal Blade, all that mana burn starts to really come into play, and well, the backliners couldn't survive. They did not. The other big thing that hurt Voidboys was Omni Knight did not have mana. He couldn't get off his ultimate. Fly's Arcane Boots were like maybe 5 seconds from cooling down, but just didn't have them ready in time and ended up falling before he could get it off. If they get the GA off there, maybe they win that fight. Good hold from Complexity. This is a back and forth game. No racks claimed yet.
Just game number 1 of a best of 3 too, and it looks like it's going to be a potentially a long one here at this rate, as I would imagine Complexity would like to wait things out, maybe could sneak in a Roche play themselves. We'll have a couple of minutes before we even get to see what that timer will be, or maybe Voidboys just look to go right back towards Complexity. I mean, they already invested a lot in those buybacks. If they have another successful engagement, this time they won't be coming back for round 2, because it wasn't until they came back for round 2 that when Pat Soul finally did lose his Aegis the first time. So now with Shivas on his side and 3k gold, he easily has enough for a buyback. I think Voidboys can just go for another team fight.
Yeah, I definitely think they could. The Storm, well, let's see. I guess he's only really got 2 lives. The Bloodstone respawn is still going to be pretty long. He's level 25. And it's only 10 charges, so he's got 2 lives. BOT buyback not available though. I think he'll be short if he dies and has to buy back.
He'll be close.
Yeah, maybe if he sells the treads, he actually may have just enough. So it's a bit risky though. You go for that big play, and if somehow the fight turns against you, maybe Storm buys back, TP's in, but Shadow Fiend's dead. He doesn't have buyback. Storm could just get brought down all on his own.
Omni's trying to get a Yule Scepter here, because it looks like he's getting focused. He couldn't even get his Guardian Angel off in that previous fight. It must have been the PL throwing out that Spirit Lance, and that might have been more than enough for them to just eliminate his whole mana pool. So if he's able to stall out a bit and then show up into the battle, a Guardian Angel would have made things that much more profitable for Voidboys even in that fight, but wasn't even there that time. Now, you could say the same for Complexity. Their support staff was brought down pretty fast, so they weren't even really there to help out to their true potential.
It's just that PL though. He's so good at zerging, you know. Yeah. Once you use a lot of your BKBs, a lot of your big, the longer the fight goes, the better PL gets. Right, all the BKBs were off. The big spells like Repel and the Omni Knight ult are used, and then he's likely to be dead before he can use another Repel, or before the fight goes much longer. The longer that fight goes, the better the PL gets. There's less ways to deal with him. He has more time to build up his illusion army and to get a fresh new one and start going to work. And that's where Voidboys want to just win a quick, clean fight. You know, get the support kills right away, back off, don't overcommit onto the tier 4s, try and stay as 5. As 5, they can deal with the PL. But when they're getting zerged and there's like a Storm in one position, a Omni Knight running for his life from Illusions in the other, then it gets a lot harder.
7.2k now for Ziz and his PL.
I wonder, what is the item here? Abyssal Blade is a possibility. Just to remove that Linked Sphere, so then you can go in with the Diffusal for the Repel. I mean, that's one option. Then they can get off a Hex, but still, it's a lot of stuff to have to go through.
Yeah, he did just level up that Diffusal Blade. Last time I checked, it was only at 1 charge in level 1, but now he gets more of the agility.
He got a lot of mileage out of it. We see a lot of players just right away buying the next one. Yeah. Okay, Abyssal Blade is here. So now, in theory, he can Abyssal off the Lincoln Sphere. Then he can purge off the Repel, and then they can Hex and kill this damn Storm. Now, he still has BKB, so it's not going to be easy, but there is a little bit extra lockdown here. Of course, there's other heroes that are nice to just focus down. The Shadow Fiend does not have a Lincoln Sphere. Well, for now, the big clash may come. They've bought the Satanic on Shadow Fiend. They're going for a big aggressive play here, Dakota, and Ziz is on his own.
Oh, man.
He could get caught out. They see the main hero run, and he's going to Manta, but they match the silence him afterwards. Now, he tries to move himself away.
Yeah, he gets rid of the silence to try to get out, but they now get the snag with that Vortex. Axe is stuck on the high ground and away from the battle. Patsoul continues to focus fire Ziz here. Guardian Angel now coming out, and he's very low. There he goes down. Still has a buyback, and he's going to use it. Yep.
Is TLK going in? Nope.
Oh, they make that jump across. Mercy Please gets the kill. The gem hits the deck. Now he's trying to make a move onto TLK, and Ziz is back from the dead, thinking about coming in from behind, but they might second-guess that re-engagement as they're already in trouble. But big stun! Laguna flies, not enough for Beyond here, but here comes Ziz in from the back, focus firing Omega Poder, takes him down immediately. Cogs are going to be popped. Beyond's going to be next, but there's the heal. Fly gets off the Repel as well, and now Ziz and Beyond go toe-to-toe. Beyond can't deal with the swarm of damage, and Ziz barely alive on the back. Patsoul cleanups the rest, and now he tries to make a go on to Ziz. Gets the pullback, takes him down.
That's a dieback, no PL, 120.
2 minutes out on the sidelines.
This could be it. PL effectively deleted from the game now. That is 30,000 net worth for Complexity. That's about half their team's net worth on the sidelines. Not to mention, no buyback on Lina, Lion, Dazzle. The only hero who's got it is the Axe. That's at least a lane of Rax, if not just the game. They're painting tier 4s.
Yeah, this
VB, the Voidboys, they want to go for this, Dakota.
Who's going to be there to defend? Dazzle in 6 seconds. The Rax are going to be down by then. Then you hope for Lion.
3,500 net worth.
I don't think it's happening. They're going to pop the glyph and hope that maybe Voidboys just kind of take their sweet time, but I think they'll just go right. They didn't even need to do these Rax. They could have just gone for the tier 4s.
The safe play here is to just get 2 lanes of Rax.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have time
70 seconds, though, without PL.
That Storm is so goddamn big.
Yeah. Jumps up in, and they're going to go with the safer play. The Axe is here. Blinks in, gets the call, but
stalling tactics. Now Fogda's going to come in, but he's still got plenty of items to work with. BKB's available. He'll leap forward. Patsoul tanks a finger. Maybe he's going to tank that Laguna blade as well. It doesn't matter. Keeps on going. They haven't actually breached the tower, though. The Shadow Fiend's still dead for a while. He's a lot of their right click. TOK gets the 2-hero call. They may have held it, Dakota. 1, 2. See you later.
Okay.
So it's a lane of Rax. It is a dieback on the PL at the very least, so.
I can't believe they didn't get more.
It's not like Complexity can punish this, really, but at least they hold the line for now.
I can't believe they only got that. I
thought they might get more, too, but.
Oh, man.
That was a really nice blink call there by TLK.
Yeah, TLK, man. He's the bouncer for the base. Makes them sweat, and they can't get the job done. Does force out the buyback there at the end from Swindle. So Voidboys, they'll have to step away. They do cash in some serious winnings from that. Patsoul is fully slotted. I mean, unless he wants to get a boot to travel at this point, and still 8k even on top of that. Does have a buyback for himself, and he makes a jump on forward. He finishes out the tier 3, and now he's pressuring the Rax just himself.
You can have the Aegis. We'll take 2 lanes of Rax as Patsoul, although he gets hexed. There's an Impale follow-up, has the finger, in comes the Axe. That's not enough to kill him. And now they've been spotted out at Roshan. Storm can get here if he wants to, or he can go top. What's the choice going to be? It's back towards top.
And Hook could come from Mercy Please to cancel the TPs back to base if that's what they wanted to do. Scouts out the rocket, seeing if anyone's going to TP, and they're not TPing.
Patsoul's going to clean in cave in a whole lane of Rax for this. And it's only a Lina Aegis. Is that really even worth it? PL, no buyback for 3.5 minutes. All Voidboys have to do now, kill the PL, unless they sacrifice 3 or 4 heroes for it, that's pretty much the game.
All they have to do is kill the PL.
Basically, all they have to do is... If they lose like 4 heroes to kill the PL, then maybe that's not it. But outside of that, they're in good shape.
Incoming.
Man, oh man.
By the way, I don't know what Pat Sol wants to buy here, but it's time to go shopping. He won the sweepstakes, 9k gold, 13, 3, and 12. We asked what kind of storm it would be. Well, it's turned out to be a very fat storm for Pat Sol.
So yeah, his BKB, no surprise at its 5-second mark.
He's like Scrooge McDuck, you know, swimming in his vault full of coins right now. He zips to the shop. He's like, I don't really know what I want to buy. Okay, nothing. I think it's a Hex and a BOTs maybe for him.
Get someone to hold a refresher for him.
Does he YOLO a Rapier?
I like Omega Poner as well. He's had, I don't know if he had this last time, a Shadow Amulet. Just to kind of secure your Death Ward without being spotted out. And it looks like Perseverance on the side. That could be another Lincoln's just to have for your team, or a refresher, possibly. Because he already has the Agnums together.
Yeah, it looked like he was going Shadow Blade. Then they might have lost the gem around that time, and then he went for the Perseverance instead. But he did start off with this at least casual value Shadow Amulet. There's your Hex. He's going to go no Boot Storm, which is not a terrible build at this point in the game, considering that...
He also has no TP.
That is the one issue.
Yeah.
But you have the Bloodstone Suicide for the free fountain trip.
That's true.
And the instant buyback afterwards.
That is true. And Pat Sol's a player. I mean, whether it's Spectre, whether it's Storm Spirit, he knows the right time to make that call for a buyback return play.
They also have their tier 2 mid, so I think Voidboys are fairly resilient against a push up 2 lanes of Rax. It would be tough for Complexity just to win one fight and go win the game off of that. There's buybacks on both cores, actually all 3 cores. To the extent that we still count Clockwork as well, and he kind of starts to fall off. Actually, has mostly fallen off by this point, but still a useful zoning hero. Well, do they go for the 5-man aggression bottom, Dakota? Do they just try and close it out now, or do they want to wait out the Aegis before they try to make their next big play?
I mean, there's no buybacks. It's just kind of hopefully they can one and done it. And the only person with that Aegis is your Lina, so it's still the case that if they take down this PL, he is out for good. And it looks like they might be feeling pretty confident. Because of the buybacks they have, they could go for a big fight, lose a couple of lives, and get right back in for round 2, which is something Complexity can't do themselves. So if they're basing it on that, maybe they feel comfortable enough to fight.
It's an interesting choice. 1 minute until the PL is buyback, now down to about 45, or 2 minutes until there's no Aegis.
Long jump back to mid lane here from Pat Sol as they want to continue to build up the pressure from both the mid and the side lanes here. And it looks like Complexity, look at this, they're going to YOLO smoke out from the base here. They're going to try to catch a flank, yeah. Oh, they could get
started off on Pat Sol. He's got the BKB. Is he going to get to use it? No chance in hell. Laguna, Finger, everything they need to bring him down. But he's up in 38.
Yep.
I don't think they'll be able to force the buyback.
No.
If Pat Sol's patient here, he'll just wait it out.
They got to make their way through a tier 2 in this mid lane. They got to make their way through the rest of Voidboys, whatever defense they could put together here to slow them down. And I think Pat Sol will be fine. He won't need to commit. His buyback does lose a chunk of his charges for it, but they will be fine to just kind of have him ready to go with still a buyback at the ready. So Complexity, it's a nice pick for him. One step in the right direction. They need a couple of more of those, though, to get themselves back in the game. Still down pretty big here. 2 sets of racks, and they're just constantly on this like lane pressure that they want to push on out.
Now they have most of their buybacks, at least in terms of the cooldown, but unfortunately, the gold is a bit lacking. Lina, no gold. Hers will be up in 1 minute. Axe, very short on gold, 1,700 away, but his will be up in 35 seconds. They are going to buy a smoke here. In the meantime, Voidboys are on the smoke. Let's see. How many do they have left? None for 9 minutes unless there's something on the courier. There's not. Oh, by the way, Pat Sol has BOTs waiting for him on the courier, so he is more than ready for that BOT retreat. As he zips where the PL once stood. He was a bit late to jump him top, but he's got the right idea here at any rate.
Yeah. They're trying to catch a sneaky PL, but now
they just need that one big catch. Although PL is buyback now, catching him out in a terrible position could win them the game.
They're going right on forward here. Pat Sol's already conveniently repelled, and they jump in and make the call. Flies here, though. quickly puts off the Guardian Angel here to help on out. PatSol eating none of his damage, goes right towards the back for those supports. And he gets Yulesed up quickly. Z-Freak's still fine, running on out. They get a hold of TLK in the cogs while Fog dishes out the finger. Not quite yet. Oh, and now they turn right back in. Ziz going to be focused here. Vortex pullback, right clicks. He could go down, will go down.
Has the buyback. Axe does not, however. That's a big initiator to lose. And this might be it.
Yeah.
Voidboys, they need one lane. Or maybe straight throne. Straight throne feels a bit risky. Or maybe back and just be happy that you forced the PL buyback. Wait for your next fight to try and win the game.
Butterfly here on Shadow Fiend. There's no MKB here on the PL. So they're just going to clear out this mid lane here. All the BKBs have been used. So they will be on cooldown. PatSol's up in about 5 seconds. They're going right for Megas. They move in. Fog's on the right-hand side, still with Finger.
Do you fight, or do you wait for your Axe to respawn and give up Megas? I think you gotta fight. It's too hard to win against them. They're gonna go for it, but Ziz is the target now as Mercy Please goes onto him, pushing him back into PatSol's waiting arms. They'll pull him in. Can they bring him down? Low, Graved tries to run back towards the well. Shadow Fiend waiting with the big zip. PatSol, a giant leap forward, diving the well. Can't get the job done though. He tried.
Oh, they get the Dazzle in exchange and walk back and away. That's going to be 2 Complexity members out on the sidelines, not going to be able to be here for what could be the final defense. Ziz needs to quickly heal up because the last set of racks are now being contested. He moves back on forward and goes right for PatSol. Trying to right-click him, but he's able to get away. Beyond holds his ground and starts right-clicking out the rest of Complexity. Only one last person with a buyback now from Swindle. It's just him and Ziz goes down, and it looks like that's it.
Omega Poner, what a player. He's been running around this game, constantly just using the Shadow Amulet on himself and then, like, stopping, standing there. Somehow he found himself, like, I can't even circle now because the game's ending, but, like, off in the tree line, up past where the bottom racks are, gets off a full duration death ward. It's bouncing around onto 3 heroes.
Oh, man.
They would have won anyway, but just a nice way to kind of punch him in the mouth one more time before you take home the GG. Voidboys seem to have really solid late game decision making. They did overextend one time on the push vid, but their teamwork's good, and I think their team play is their most impressive facet as a team, especially compared to a lot of the other American teams who have great individual talent. But I mean, we saw the last series for Tinker kind of off doing their own thing a lot of the time, getting picked off one by one. Voidboys are playing like a 5-man unit. They're threatening, and they look good against a real Complexity.
Yeah, we'll just have to see if they can close out this series 2-0, or if Complexity are going to be able to bounce back in game number 2 of this best-of-3 series in the upper bracket between Voidboys and Complexity. Game number 2 going to be coming up next. I'm KotLGuy, that's LD. We're beyond the summit here, bringing the coverage for StarLadder Season 12. More Dota on the way.
G2A.com, the best video game store ever! Fast as lightning, solid as a rock, cheap as duck! What's more, you can sell on it because it's also a marketplace. Remember, G2A.com, the best video game store ever!